Hi, everyone. Good evening and welcome to the Building for the Climate webinar with Goparity Canada. We are really excited today to welcome Dustin Bowers, founder and CEO of PLAEX, Melinda and Rick of TookeTree, as we explore how these two different Canadian innovators are reimagining construction from the ground up, from prefab homes made with natural carbon storing materials to modular blocks built entirely from recycled waste. PLAEX and TookeTree are really proving that climate innovation can be both practical and profitable. So I know a lot of you are here to learn a little bit more about each respective borrower. You'll hear directly from each of these amazing companies. But before we get there, I just want to hand it over to Emily to do a quick introduction about Goparity and what we're all about.
Awesome. Thanks, Aditi. Hello, everyone. My name is Emily. I'm one of the co-founders of Goparity Canada, the investment platform that's bringing us all together today. So Goparity is an online platform that provides Canadians with sustainable investment opportunities. We work with Canadian small and medium-sized businesses working on innovative solutions for tough social and environmental initiatives. And we make it simple for you guys to invest in those initiatives. Your income, net worth, investing experience do not prevent you from investing with Goparity. So when you invest with us, you're actually lending money directly to a Canadian business. So in today's case, you'd be lending money directly to PLAEX or TookeTree or both. You can choose what you want to invest in. So today you'll hear from these two organizations, learn the behind the scenes, and better understand how they're creating massive strides in making the construction industry more sustainable. And you can determine how much you'd like to invest in each of these organizations. So at Goparity, we have a $20 minimum commitment. So it's really up to you if you want to just dip your toe in and see how this works. Or maybe you'd really like to step up and be that person that makes a real difference in propelling these businesses to the next level. In terms of logistics, it only takes a couple minutes to sign up with Goparity. So I will actually do a platform walkthrough at the end of this webinar. Make sure you stick around because I'm also going to show you how Goparity users can redeem $50 towards your first investment with us, meaning you get $50 free to contribute to one of these incredible businesses on top of the annual interest rate that you'll be earning on your invested capital. So it's definitely a great deal that you'll want to take advantage of. And finally, I'll just mention that there's absolutely no fees to invest on the platform. I'll also be here at the end of the webinar to answer any questions that you might have. So feel free to save your questions, drop them in the chat throughout because we will have a audience question period. And yeah, I'm really excited to hand it off to the founders of these incredible organizations.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Emily, for that introduction. So let's get right into it. Let's go around here, and if you can just intro who you are, your role, and let's go from there. So Rick, let's start with you.
Sure. Rick Soteric, and I'm the CFO of TookeTree Passive Homes.
Perfect. Melinda?
Hi, I'm Melinda Soteric. I am the CEO of TookeTree Passive Homes.
And Dustin?
Hey, my name is Dustin Bowers, and I'm the founder and product developer for PLAEX Building Systems.
And it's great to have you all here. So, Melinda, I want to start with you. Could you tell me a little bit more about what inspired TookeTree to start, and how has the company evolved since being founded?
Yeah, thanks for that. We started product development probably about 10 years ago, a little bit more. And what inspired our decision to become panelized builders was that we saw the need to rapidly transform the construction sector to address climate change, and as well to provide a solution that would bring good jobs, secure jobs, increase the quality of construction, and ensure that the homes we're building today would last for generations and both mitigate and adapt to the climate. And we saw that panelization with high performance materials to high quality was a solution to that. And so, yeah, we worked very hard to come up with a product that we felt was the highest quality and most efficient way that we could deliver that solution to the market, and started production back in 2019.
Perfect.
Yeah.
2018, 2019. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all a blur before the beginning of the pandemic, so I get my dates. And
no worry. Rick, yeah, happy to have you jump in here.
Yeah, everything Melinda said, and I'm selfish. The reason I'm in this is because I have 4 grandchildren, and if we don't do something dramatic about the construction industry, they won't have a place to live on this planet.
Definitely. Yeah. Yes, 100%. And I mean, the changes we make now have an effect for generations after us. So great point there, Rick. And Dustin, I would love to hear from you as well, from your journey founding PLAEX. What kind of problems are you solving in the construction world? What inspired that, that beginning?
Yeah, so I'd really echo Rick on that one. I've grown up in the construction industry. I come from a family of tradespeople. My grandfather was a tool and die smith, and then I've got uncles and father in the construction industry. So I've grown up with tools in my hand, and one of those people who can tear apart and fix just about anything. And after I had my first kid, I started really questioning what we were doing in the construction industry. I've built a lot of houses, I've renovated a lot of houses, built many restaurants and other light commercial applications. I've got the scars to prove it. And over those years, I finally realized there was a scaling issue. Yes, I'm younger. I'm 37, but it's hard to find anybody younger than me in the industry anymore. And if you're trying to scale up projects, and we had people throwing money at us to build stuff, but we could not find enough people to build it. The errors that happen in having to cut everything, the modularization of construction is the future. So how do we make it simpler? Eliminate cutting, make it easier to put together, make it funner so maybe some young people get involved, and that's where PLAEX comes in. We're having fun building stuff. If you can build with Lego, you can build with PLAEX, and we're making things just that simple. And not only that, but it's made from up to 100% recycled materials, so it's a true win-win solution.
I love this analogy with the Lego blocks. I mean, I think that's a great way of bringing fun back into a space that maybe hasn't traditionally been fun. So thanks for that, Dustin. Melinda and Rick, back to you. Could you tell us a little bit more about what kinds of projects your seed panels are being currently used for, and tell the audience a little bit more, what does it mean by seed panel?
Sure. So seed has many meanings. Partly we are working to plant the seeds of a sustainable future. It's also an acronym: sustainable, ecological, efficient, and durable. And so we have multiple meanings, planting the seeds of ideas for the next generation of housing. One of the big drivers for me, I'd spent over 25 years in the construction sector as a general contractor, and saw over and over again that when projects were being built, whether they were single family custom homes or affordable housing buildings, the aspects of the project that were going to lead to the long-term durability of the building, the affordability of the building, the energy efficiency of the building were getting what they called value engineered out during the design and construction process. So we really wanted to bake in that quality, that durability, that lifetime total cost of building ownership, sustainability, and efficiency. So while we have built everything from a home that you could trail behind your car to multi-unit affordable housing, and we continue, custom homes continue to be a part of our market, our main focus, where we feel that there's the greatest opportunity for our solution to really scale and have a huge impact on the industry, is in the multifamily affordable housing sector. We have shown with partners that is this way of building with our techniques is actually is more affordable from the beginning and the lifetime of the project. And we can ensure that those buildings, from a building science and a health perspective, are healthy for the occupants in the long term. So we are currently working on 6 plexes that we're shipping to the far north, as well as some more local multi-unit apartment buildings.
Melinda, you bring up a great point around affordability, because I think when people think about sustainability, they think it comes with a higher price tag. And in my mind, TookeTree is a great case study of that doesn't always have to be the case. And it's possible to bring in communities that are looking for accessible housing into this journey. So yeah, this is an angle I think that continues to develop and needs to be shared. It needs to be shared within the industry, is that it's possible to be both sustainable and affordable.
In fact, I would argue if it's not sustainable, it's completely unaffordable. Even if you're saving a couple dollars today, you're giving yourself a huge bill tomorrow. So it's we are very competitive and more affordable than a lot of conventional styles of building today with upfront construction costs. But not only that, in my view, if you don't take these things into, well, the math just shows that, the third-party financial performers show if you don't build sustainably for today, you are going to be burdened heavily with enormous costs down the road.
Yes. Yeah. Really goes to show we're starting to rethink the way we assess value, the way we assign value. So Dustin, could you tell me then a little bit more about PLAEX Create and how it differs from traditional materials? Tell us a little bit more about your product.
Yeah, so I mean, with the PLAEX Create material, it's a totally new composite. We take difficult to recycle polymers from the agricultural, the marine, and food packaging industries. We can take a lot of contaminated or multi-layer packaging that would otherwise be incinerated or sent to landfill, and we combine that with mineralogical waste from the construction industry. So I think old concrete, primarily old concrete, but we do also work with other things like glass and clay brick. We have the 2 blends. We put that material through our proprietary equipment, and then that is molded through a multi-stage system into our finished products. And that creates a real scalable solution to be able to deal with, not just provide a solution for housing, but simultaneously providing a scalable solution to waste issues. And rather than just burying it or burning it, we can actually get the real value out of those materials. I was really inspired by a cradle to cradle philosophy, and I think more and more we see the economics starting to shift around that of, every waste material should be considered a raw material for another application. And so that's really what we've taken to our core, is being able to take these waste materials and turn them into a solution for another big problem. So one problem is actually the solution for another problem. And that's really the true idea of some of this cradle to cradle philosophy. And then we've taken it one step further by creating products that we can deconstruct. So now we've taken into account that full life cycle cost around a building. Like Melinda was saying, the upfront cost is only part of it. And that's one of the things we deal with our products is per unit. We are a premium product per unit. But if you take a look at the estimator that we have on our website, we just launched our estimator 2.0. You can see when you look at square footage costs, we even include the fees, the tax, the things that you would be paying if you're going to be building a building. We include all of that on Canadian averages. And you can see on average, we're always cheaper per square foot of finished building. And so people really need to understand what is the real importance. And I think sustainability and affordability, they can go hand in hand when we think about things correctly. And we look at utilizing the things that are already around us. And you don't have to import all of this. We can make it directly here in Canada from Canadian sourced waste. So, and in any jurisdiction that we launch our technology as well. So it's a truly unique material. And if you check out our YouTube, I'd like to see other builders drive a tractor into their wall.
You guys have some fun content up there. So for anyone watching, I 100% check it out. They've done some cool stuff.
At PLAEX on YouTube, real easy. At PLAEX on YouTube.
Perfect. So Dustin, I just am curious if you could tell us a little bit more about what kinds of builds you can make with these blocks that you've created with the recycled materials, and what does the application look like?
Yeah, so initially we're launching into the landscape space. So we've been starting to do a few smaller projects with our landscaping products. We've spent the last 5 years going through R&D and getting through certification testing. Bringing new products to market is always a big challenge where we're not building out of lumber, which is already certified and stamped. We've made a whole new material. It's not concrete, it's not plastic, it's something totally new. And so that has, taken a lot of time for R&D, iterative development of equipment. And now we have our first prototype production system going, and we're producing a limited amount of product for the landscape industry. Very quickly, we're going to be transitioning that with more molds, getting into the building industry. We have our first demo home lined up. So housing is really going to be our big push going forward. We're really focusing at more standalone units, smaller structures to begin with, and then we'll be expanding the application as we can continue through that certification process. So right now, as of last November, we got our acceptance criteria approved through the International Code Council for single-story application, and we're expanding that to below grade this November. So going into 2026, we'll be able to do a basement and single-story unit, and at a much more affordable cost than your traditional builds, and being able to assemble it in days instead of months.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing of the way you've designed your product, is that you really cut down on some of these things that we don't necessarily think about as people not in the construction industry, but are causing huge amounts of waste of time, waste of labor, waste of product materials. And yeah, I see a very similar alignment with the prefab approach that you've taken over at TookeTree. So Melinda and Rick, I mean, I'm not sure which one of you wants to answer this, but could you tell us a little bit more about what the next stage of TookeTree looks like, and what are you securing funding for with Goparity?
Sure. Why don't I start and Melinda can add on.
Yeah.
We have been in a rental building, which limits our ability to expand. So the first thing we're doing is acquiring the building. That will give us an opportunity to do leasehold improvements, to expand the building, to do whatever we want within the building code that will allow us to improve our productivity. And so the goal is to increase our capacity at least 3 to 5 times what we're doing now on this current site. We have some room with what we've got to increase capacity, but we're getting close to our limits in what we can do without that owning the building and then doing the expansions. So that where we want to go is grow our capacity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one example is we have a fantastic CNC saw that is fed data from our CAD computer software, from our shop drawings, to precision cut all the pieces of wood that go into our panels and minimize waste. And we have a number of tables where people are assembling that wood into the panels once the wood is cut. But the saw is only running a portion of the time. So if we have room for more panels, we can run that saw more often. We can hire more people, and we can, significantly increase our production. Another bottleneck area is in our installation process, where we are currently using a machine that takes a fair bit of time in terms of the ratio to the rest of our process to insulate the panels, and does create a little bit of dust. So we are looking to acquire a part of the renovation and expansion. Will be acquiring a piece of equipment that helps us speed up that process and help our team focus on getting the panels out quicker, so that we can serve more customers, and also have it is a very old rental building, so we're looking forward to, and as is our team, making it a more comfortable space, closer to the kinds of buildings that we're building, so that they can enjoy some thermal comfort themselves and not just make thermal comfort for other people.
Yeah, I mean, that your employees must be very excited for this change.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like TookeTree is really pushing forwards and expanding your business overall, and this next step of acquiring the factory of which you currently operate in. I mean, it's exciting. It's such a great next stage of your company. So for the people who are listening here, you have a chance to be a part of that. You have a chance to help TookeTree in purchasing this factory. So that's what the project is all about. I'm seeing some questions in the chat. We'll get to them in just a second here. But before we do so, Dustin, could you tell me then what is PLAEX fundraising for with Goparity?
Yeah, so we've seen an exceptional amount of demand for our products, and as a startup in the physical space, equipment is costly, and we're now going from our prototype production equipment to our Gen 2 commercial equipment, and so this capital is largely going directly into upgrading, getting our Gen 2 mold system and Gen 2 production systems up and running, taking all the learnings that we've done over the last couple of years and allowing us to go from half a dozen in an hour to should be able to get about 30 to 60 an hour, depending on which product we're producing. So really ramping up that production capacity with this new equipment.
Perfect. I mean, it sounds like on both fronts, we're seeing huge demand for the solutions that you've designed, and with that, the need for expansion. So again, great opportunity to invest in expanding these businesses. So I'll just jump to the chat here. I see Liz has asked, how fire resistant are your products to both? I know, Rick, you're typing in the chat here, so why don't we start with you if you want to share it out for everybody?
Sure. Great. Our products are very fire resistant. Our insulation we use is a Class A fire rating. That's the best you can get. And so you compare that to you can hold a torch against the insulation, and it'll cinder and slowly burn. No big flaming. Contrast that with any kind of foam product like the foam that most builders today use. Fires will not go into buildings made with spray foam products, vinyl, because they burn very quickly and they give off noxious fumes. So they will not go into the building. They'll simply spray the building and see what they can do from the outside. So we do very well on the fire rating. Now, there's an interesting picture of the California fires. There's a picture of one house standing all by itself amid rubble. That house was just barely singed a little bit on the base, and it survived the whole endeavor of all of those fires. So for miles around, there's desolation. One house survived. That house was built to the standards we use.
Wow. Wow. I mean, that's truly amazing to see that. I know with all of the forest fires happening across the country, there's a lot of fear happening, and it's amazing to see that there are solutions. And Dustin, I would love to hear from a PLAEX perspective. How do your products interact with fire?
Yeah, so I mean, as a polymer product, people have that as a big concern. We've done a lot of work with chemistry. It is not just a plastic brick, it is a composite. So we actually use a lot of recycled concrete and aggregates in it. The better way to think of our material is a highly polymerized concrete more than a plastic brick. And with that, we actually get an exceptional fire resistance on the material. We can hold a torch to it. It won't self-sustain a flame. With flame on it, there is some off-gassing that'll happen on the surface, and then it produces a carbon foam. Then from that, it really resists it. We've been able to eliminate the drip. We've been able to eliminate a lot of the other modalities. As far as fire rating, it's been a capital restriction for us at this point. We do have the testing lined up, and we have things going on. It's going to be happening over the next couple of months. By the end of the year, we should have all of that testing done. And we've worked with some world-class chemists on this, so I have the utmost confidence in our product.
Perfect. And another note here from Liz. She says, Toronto is doing a waste management program for the future. Survey asks if we support burning the garbage. Will you suggest you can use the plastic to create something new? So it sounds like Liz has some potential waste suppliers in mind for you, but anything you want to address there, Dustin?
Yeah, so we've been part of CELIC, the Circular Economy Leadership Forum, and through that I've had the chance to talk with several of the officials in City of Toronto around that. We are hoping to very quickly ramp up here going into next year and get production capacity in Ontario. At the moment, obviously, it doesn't make sense to truck that waste from Toronto to New Brunswick when we already have tens of thousands of tons of highly viable waste right here locally. But as we scale this up, we do have a licensee lined up already to be able to start manufacturing in Toronto once we hit the next step. So really that the funding here helps us get our Gen 2 equipment up and running, and then we can start shipping that Gen 2 equipment and really scaling up the production from there.
Right, right. Thanks for clarifying there, Dustin and Liz. I hope that addresses your question. Rick, I know you're in the chat actively answering, so I'm just going to ask. I know you might have answered this already, but Sue is wondering where they might be able to view / the products in person in use. So yeah, tell us a little bit more about where you're based out of, where some of your builds have been.
We are in the thriving metropolis of Baysville. What are there? Maybe 300 to 400 permanent residents here. Most our workers are in the area. We have a factory here, which we're welcome, and visitors are welcome almost anytime. We like you to call in advance, so we're ready, at least not busy having meetings and doing other things. So you can come to the factory and see the products as we're making them. You can see finished products in the yard. You can see one of the finished homes very close nearby, which is a duplex with 3 bedrooms at the front, 2 bedrooms at the back. It's being used as a rental unit in the back, and the owner's living in the front. And that one's quite visible for visible on a finished product. If you want to see other homes that we've done, happy to show you pictures. Owners don't always like you driving by and knocking on the door, but we can arrange site visits if that's useful too, as well.
We also have some videos of some of the installations available for people to see when our crane shows up with the truck shows up with the panels and the foundation's ready. It typically takes just a couple hours to get a story units assembled, and people can have, in some cases, the entire envelope assembled in a day. Of course, we speed up the videos on our website, so you don't have to watch for 2 hours to watch every panel go into place, but it is a very quick process. And so there's some photos and videos of projects that we've completed on our website.
Yeah, we're kind of like Lego as well. Just our pieces are a little bit bigger, but they assemble very fast. And so, as Melinda said, you can put up a single-story house in a day, and it's totally enclosed.
Yes. Yeah.
And we also install the windows typically inside as well. So the exterior is ready for exterior finishes, siding, whatever you choose, and the interior is ready for your plumbing, electrical, and your drywall or whatever your wood interior finishes of your choice are.
Yeah, I mean, this is amazing. As someone who's not in the construction industry, it's hard to really picture, how are you constructing full houses in such a short time span? So definitely check out the TookeTree videos. I have lots of questions coming in here, so let's keep rolling through them. I have a question for you, Dustin. Could the PLAEX system replace ICF for foundations?
That's a great analysis. I actually use that analogy quite often. We're the next evolutionary step from ICF. So with ICF, you start with that styrofoam outside, and then you pour concrete in the middle. You have to add rebar. You have to only pour so much at a time. You got to wait 28 days for it to set. There's, if you didn't put it together right, it'll start leaking. I've seen horror shows on job sites. Luckily, never mine, but I've seen some really bad pictures. With our product, we reverse that. So you start with your core block. We start with the core brick. Doesn't matter what the weather is. It can be raining. It could be freezing. It could be sweltering hot. And as long as it's not too hot to work in, you can put these together. It doesn't matter the weather. You're not weather dependent like you are with concrete. There's no more salamanders and heated blankets and all of that fun. Simply assemble the bricks, and then we're working with a variety of third parties to provide panel solutions. Potentially can discuss some things there, but that then on the outside of that, you add your insulation or your other product, and you get a nice audible click. So, and that's really the big thing with ours, you know, it's a brick, but the dovetail system that's integrated with our brick and panel system allows for a fully interlocking structure. So a lot of other structures that are built out of cinder blocks or bricks or other masonry type products, your mortar is your failure point. They don't interlock on the sides, they don't interlock on the top, they just typically stack together. Some bricks may have a small nib, but generally speaking, they just stack together and the mortar holds things in place. With our product, it's actually interlocked. The ends lock into the ends of the next bricks next to it, so you end up creating an entirely single structure out of all of that interlocking system. We use it in our cabinets, but for some reason people didn't think to use it in our houses. I mean, the Japanese did at some level, but it's taking some of those insights of how do we use joinery to actually create something that's robust without the need for adhesives or fasteners. We eliminate thermal bridging that way and a lot of other things. And as far as collaboration, that is a real possibility too. We are in talks with a couple of companies doing housing developments to provide a solution for footings or for knee walls and foundations.
I'm loving the synergy that's happening here. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of feedback, I think,
Sorry,
but
my son was just joining us here, but I did want to say I really am excited about the potential for ICF to go the way of the dodo and have something far more higher quality and sustainable for people to choose. And hopefully that little ICF blip in the construction world will be a thing of the past soon. We also have you mentioned panels. We have a retrofit panel, or it could be just simply an exterior insulation panel. It's been designed for retrofits of existing buildings where, in the energy strong spirit of things, we're working with NRCan to be able to wrap existing buildings without disturbing the tenants on the inside and give them that higher performance, more comfortable passive house building up relift energy retrofit, which could also go on a building that simply wanted to have that exterior insulation cladding system post structure as well. So
right.
All kinds of potential opportunities, I think, with definitely.
Definitely. We'll have to connect you guys after this. Melinda, I did actually get a question in the chat here in the Q&A from you, for you. Someone is wondering what's in TookeTree's panels, what's making them sustainable, ecological, etc.
Great question. And actually, we do have a full blowout of all the details and ingredients in our panel on our website. We are also, I should mention, we are Creative Commons licensed. So we invite people to know everything about what we're doing and just ask that if they find an improvement, they are obligated through our licensing to share that back with the rest of the world so we can all learn and improve. So we're completely transparent with what we put in, and it's all been vetted by CSA and other third-party certifiers, and we are on the product of getting an EPD, environmental product declaration, for our panels. We do have third-party carbon data through Beam and Builders for Home Builders Can and RMI Rocky Mountains. Our ingredients are pretty simple. It's wood, it's recycled newsprint cellulose insulation, wood fiberboard insulation, which is a waste product from lumber industry, and then some high performance membranes in terms of our air barriers and our vapor control layers that we get from Europe because they meet higher environmental and health standards and durability standards than what we have available here in Canada. But otherwise, our ingredients are local, and we always look to make sure we're choosing products that meet our health requirements and carbon footprint and also circular economy requirements.
Okay. Having a lot of questions here, so I will just take 2 or 3 more and then we'll start to wrap up the evening. But Jackie has asked in the chat, are these products available across Canada? So starting with Dustin,
Hopefully by the end of next year. Right now, we could ship you product. It is a heavier product. It is a, like a concrete type material, and we do have some customers. We are going to be shipping some product to BC for a housing project there. So, we are open to it. Shipping does add cost. We're not going to say no to that though. But right now we just have very limited production at our Site 1 facility in Dieppe, and that's the purpose of this funding, is to really get up to those commercial levels of production.
Okay, perfect. And yeah, so this funding for PLAEX is going to be a huge part of that as well. So if you want to have PLAEX, in your city, in your community, jump onto this opportunity. And then TookeTree, where can people access your product and your services?
Pretty well anywhere. We ship to the U.S. We are shipping to the Northwest Territories. So it can go pretty much anywhere a truck can go or a boat. I mean, while I'm here, maybe just look at this other question. How does your panel insulation address air tightness? That comes with very advanced membranes that we use both on the interior and the exterior of the building. The interior is a vapor barrier that prevents any kind of airflow, but allows any moisture in the panel to dry out. And then on the outside, another very advanced material. It's kind of like a Tyvek on steroids that again sheds water, but allows moisture to dry out. So far exceeds whatever you get with standard 6 mil poly that many people use as air barriers. And that only makes it susceptible to mold. Our panels help mitigate any risk of mold because of the insulation we use, because of the way it's treated, because of the way the air barriers are set up. And by the way, the air barriers in a finished building, when we've done testing, they're consistently well below the 0.6 air changes per hour that are required for passive standards. So we have no concerns about thermal bridging, permeability, air tightness.
Perfect. Thanks for knocking off that question right out of the gate there, Rick. Another one here, and I know, Rick, you've answered this already. So Dustin, to you, do you have any problems collecting raw materials that you need? I know it's a little bit different with your business model and your product. So anything there?
Yeah, we have a big problem. We need to scale up faster to deal with all the waste that we've got at our fingertips. We actually recently launched a website or a web page on our website showcasing the true scale of the waste issue. And I tried to add some context to it. If you put all of the plastic onto pallets and you stack those pallets end to end, how far would that go? Well, we could go to the moon and back to Earth and back to the moon again with all the plastic we produce in 1 year. Mind blowing. We could wrap it around the Earth 30 times. Mind blowing. It's hard to really wrap your head around how big the waste problem actually is. If we don't do something about it, I did some math, and somewhere between 2038 and 2056, there will be enough plastic produced to cover every square inch of landmass with a pallet of plastic. So we need a solution. We have no problem on the supply. We need to scale up equipment, and that's the big thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think everyone here can agree plastic waste is a huge issue around the world. So, I mean, I see so much applicability of these kinds of solutions, not just here in Canada, but everywhere. I'll take just one last question I got in the Q&A here. It's to Dustin. What is the upfront embodied carbon in your product?
Yeah, so each metric ton of our composite material offsets about 1.65 or diverts about 1.65 metric tons of CO2 emissions. So that equates to something roughly about 36 kilos per brick of offset, something like that. So it actually is a very significant diversion, numbers. And so far we've done what we call an LCA light. We've worked through, gone through all the numbers. We got our solar impulse certification on efficiency, and then going into early next year, we'll actually be getting our LCA done on it to have that fully accredited or backed offsets that we can claim on it.
Perfect. Well, I will just loop Emily in here. Happy to, keep chatting if you have questions. Melinda, Rick, and Dustin, I'm sure are happy to reply and chat here or stick around a little bit longer. I did have a question here, which I'd like to direct to you, Emily. Someone is asking, are these two companies working together or are they separate investment opportunities? So let's transition over to you, and if you can answer that.
Yeah, thanks so much. This has been such a wonderful conversation. I've really enjoyed myself and learned a lot. I'll address the question right off the bat. So these are two separate investment opportunities. I'm going to do a little platform walkthrough in a couple minutes, so you'll be able to see both investment opportunities, the different terms of the investments, but you can choose to put money towards both. You can really choose to invest how you want. So that's the exciting piece to it. And yeah, I'll go through that in just a couple minutes here. Before, I just wanted, as we're wrapping up the Q&A, I just wanted to say how inspired I am, first of all, that your organizations are simultaneously addressing two of the largest crises we face today. First, our need to keep building, to house Canadians, to build in an affordable way. And then, of course, there's the climate crisis, as Dustin so eloquently outlined and put those very disturbing visuals in our minds, but very important for us to know. But to be honest, this conversation gave me a lot of hope to see how well both of these organizations are doing, and that scaling is the barrier here. I'm just so excited to see where the future leads, because I know it's going to be leading to very big things. And I did notice that in the chat, we got a question, is there opportunity, for these two companies to work together? And we had Rick in there in the chat. And I definitely think that there are a lot of synergies coming from me not knowing too much about the building industry. It's just exciting to even be able to connect to you guys now. And yeah, sounds like you have lots to talk about. So without further ado, I will just jump right into the platform demo. Yeah, so this is the Goparity website. If you just visit goparity.ca, this is what you'll see. Once again, we are a sustainable investment platform. So as you scroll down, you'll see some different investment opportunities that we have open. And here you can see TookeTree and PLAEX, and some information about these organizations. So if I just go through what one of these projects looks like, here you can see some of the typical investment terms. So this project has a B- risk rating. What that means is, at Goparity, we do an entire due diligence process. We do a risk assessment where we'll assess the risk in the same way that a bank or a traditional lender will assess risk. And there's a lot more information once you actually click into this project of what that means and how we came to a risk rating. Typically, what you'll see is a higher risk rating. So a higher risk project will also have a higher interest rate. So also the same thing that you would see in traditional lending. So as you can see, TookeTree is B- risk rating, 7.45% annually. That's what you're earning on your outstanding capital. And then with PLAEX, you have a bit of a higher risk rating, but then you're also getting that higher interest rate. Then you can see here the term of the loan. So how long will you have all of your money invested into these projects? In the case of PLAEX, you'll have it invested there for 3 years. but you are earning monthly payments. So let's take a look at PLAEX for an example. We can see that you're earning monthly payments, but there is an 11th month grace period. So for the first 11 months, you'll just be earning your interest payments on a monthly basis. And then after those 11 months are over, you'll be earning interest plus your principal amount. So you'll quickly have lots of money back in your Goparity e-wallet, which you can then use to reinvest in other projects. And then visiting TookeTree. Here we go. We have a grace period that's a little bit shorter, 6 months, and a longer term of 6 years. And what we also have the ability to do is simulate your investment. So let's say you wanted to put in $1,000. You can choose, either of these projects. What does that look like? We can tell you kind of your whole payment plan, and what your expected interest will be, when you're going to be earning those payments, and just a nice detailed visual way. So how you get started is you click the big orange button, open an account. There you'll put in your email, you'll create a password, you'll answer some personal and financial questions about yourself. At Goparity, we are a licensed exempt market dealer, so we do require the same things that any sort of investment platform or bank would need when you sign up. One of those things that we ask right off the bat is your SIN number, and we need that because these investments are tax eligible. So we file to the CRA, we provide you with a statement of investment income, a T5 slip before the tax season. So we do need all of that information from you, also to make sure that you're never investing more than what you can afford to lose, and that all of the investments are kind of within your comfort zone, whatever that might be. So I'm going to show you just on our test website what this looks like once you've signed in and have created an account. That way I can show you how to redeem your voucher. So this is my test account, not real money, not real projects. But what you can do is when you log in, this is what you'll see. So if you're just creating an account, this will all be $0. But you can see your total assets, what you currently have invested, the interest that you've earned over time, and then what is left in your wallet. So right now I have almost $30,000 that I have in my wallet that I should be reinvesting so that that money's earning interest. Down here, there's a little button, have a voucher, redeem it here. So once again, once you're logged in and have an account, this is what you see, and you just click redeem voucher. And then here is where you will use the code BUILDGREEN. We can send it in an email after this as well, and maybe DT, you can just add this voucher code to the chat. But once you do build green, voucher code was redeemed, and now I can go ahead and invest it. So I want to invest in the project Building for Climate. So here I go to invest. I have the option, so I can see here that my voucher from Build Green is added. So I can either just invest only the voucher amount, or what I could do if I wanted to invest not $1,000 total, I'll put 950 of my own dollars, and then the $50 will be automatically added. So you can just play with that however you'd like. Confirm you investing, you sign your no purchase commitment, risk acknowledgement. And then that's how you make an investment.
Perfect. Thanks, Emily, for that walkthrough of the platform. And again, for anyone who missed it, there is a code. You get $50 on us. You can choose where to invest, which project you want to invest in. So on that note, I want to say thank you so much to our borrowers for taking some time out of your evening to come chat, tell your story, and really be part of such a thought-provoking conversation about, a new approach to construction, a new approach to addressing climate change. From any of the borrowers here, Rick, Melinda, Dustin, any final notes you want to share with the audience?
Just think about your grandchildren.
I think that the technologies that we need to build a better world are here. We just need to fund them and scale them up. And I hope that each of you can help us two companies get there. And no, we hadn't met before this, but I definitely plan on following up for sure. Definitely get in touch and let's make a difference.
You bet.
Yeah, it really, in my experience, been in construction and community organizing in the environmental sector for over 35 years, and the scale of difference the folks in the small business sector and the organizational sector in communities, working in their communities, I'm always by. So not surprised by what you've been able to achieve, Dustin, and look forward to partnering with you and seeing what we can do together.
That's great. And I just echo that about the community. It's really, buildings are the heart of our communities. We exist, and the reason we have cities today is we started to build buildings and come together and pool our thoughts and ideas. And it's time that we take the next steps in the way that we approach that building. Everything else in our lives is coming to the 21st century. We've got smartphones and AI and all these other things. Now it's time to really think about how we're actually structuring these buildings that are housing our communities and making sure they're more conducive of a positive long-term community build.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, to both of the organizations here today, I think both of you are just true examples of the kind of innovation that we need and that there's more and more and more demand for. So the fact that you're both expanding, that this investment opportunity is directly contributing to that is amazing. Melinda?
If I could just add, we've really found the Goparity platform and model and approach to investing very refreshing. We've been in a lot of investor spaces, and a lot of the time you can tell that there's the hope that you fail so they can claim your assets and make money off of that. That is a model of investment that is quite common in our sector, and not that that's everywhere. But it is rare to find a place where there's the value alignment and there's the seeking of investment and vetting for the purpose of bringing success and better models to the market. And so I really appreciate the work that you're doing at Goparity and the platform that you've created to make all of that seamless. I'm sure it's not behind the scenes, but in terms of what people see on the outside, it's founded a very easy system to navigate your site myself to create my account. So thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing that. That makes me feel great that it's a seamless experience. But yeah, it's really about connecting people with values aligned investments. And I think that is what makes the difference, because those individuals want to see, they're investing in the companies because that's what you want to see these companies succeed, and you're investing in the future of Canada that you want to see. So most definitely it is like worst case scenarios if something goes wrong with the borrower organizations, because those, our main goal is to uplift you guys and allow you to grow and flourish and grow your community as well, and be supported by people who really align with you and believe in what you're doing.
Well, I just want to say thanks everyone for the energy in both in the conversation and in the chat. I think we had great engagement, great questions. And so as Emily mentioned, you can get in touch with us. Emily shared her email in the chat. There's also our Goparity general email, which you can reach out to. But yeah, we're really happy to have this conversation, to keep answering questions, and hope to see some of you investing in the projects and starting to support the borrowers on this call.